We're shaking, folks. Back with another reaction and back with some more Pet Shop Boys. And we're back with the 1990 album Behavior. And the next tune is Nervously. It's an adverb, meaning it describes the manner in which an action is performed. So I wonder what the verb in question might be. I wonder what interaction or process is at hand and what is being done nervously. And obviously the state of being nervous is to be worried, is to be unsure, perhaps about your own abilities, perhaps about the gravity of the situation. Either way, you're anticipating, you might, maybe not dreading, you can be nervous about something that you feel well prepared for and that you should execute properly. Even so, you have a bit of anxiety, a bit of nerves. So nervous can mean things at different levels of the emotional intensity scale. But again, I wonder what is being done nervously in the first place. Let's let Neil and Chris explain it. This is Pet Shop Boys. The track is Nervously, and it's from the 1990 album Behavior. Or it would be if I used my brain. And away we go. That electric bass sine wave.
A nervous boy in several ways. I never knew the world could operate this way. I was nervous when we stopped to speak. Around my feet.
Oh, okay.
We don't talk of love. We're much too shy, but nervously we wonder when and why. A nervous boy, in spite of which I never thought I could tremble as much as this. Your flashing eyes and sudden smiles are never quite at ease, and neither am I. All we'll talk about it all some nights, but nervously we never get it right. From the start, I approved of you.
Each time around, there's a new layer.
Right from the moment you turned to face me, a nervous boy from another town, with a nervous laugh and a concentrated frown. I spoke too fast.
You're nervous.
Watchful eyes of a recent past and some nostalgic surprise. We don't talk of love. We're much too shy, but nervously we wonder when and smile, knowing why I approved of you. Right from the moment you turned to face me, a nervous boy.
Magisterial Sonics. feel uplifted and happy for the two individuals in question. Bit of electrical intensity on the end here. Okay. I was like, so there's either like a second half of the tune or it's a lead in, and obviously a lead in. In the moment, I apologize, I don't have the next track ready to go, so we'll do it next time, and if I can remember, I'll try to, reload the last 10 seconds of this and let it slide into the next tune. Nevertheless, it's like, as I was listening to the story unfold, I was like, is this a story of Neil and Chris meeting? Is this a story of, two nervous folks? Although it sounds like the narrator is a lot more nervous maybe than the other individual, but still, two kids from like different towns, and the narrator, the moment the other one looked at him, it was like, man, like, you're awesome, like, you're the one. So I do wonder, again, maybe it's autobiographical, but it's not that particular story. Maybe it's, something in Neil's life, and, someone he knew or still knew at the point of writing the song. Either way, it feels like a sweet tune. It feels like, two nervous and shy kids, like make a connection where, the world is perhaps difficult. It's hard to speak. You feel awkward. You're worried what other people might say, or, shoot you down, or bully you or whatever, and then you find a connection where it's like there's something I can actually look forward to instead of just this grind and this brutal environment. So which when you're young, it's like as Operation Ivy, a punk / ska band, all too short lived, once put it, it's like the lottery of acceptance in the school of growing up. It's like, in many cases, there's no real reason. It's just like, oh, well, you're popular, you're not, and, these people are mean to these people, and why for any of it? So it feels like that's maybe the backdrop. And there was that line about the world, like, crashing down, like, around his feet, and I wondered if that was, like, again, the sort of unpleasant or uninviting, brutal world around, or whether that was like the moment he saw this other person was like, oh, like everything else went away and it didn't matter. So I was curious about that line, but either way, it was a really interesting tune. It was theatrical in a way that I feel like the PSB produced Liza Minnelli album has been, and that it wasn't so much about their usual driving synth bass line, even though there was, again, that cool electrical, like, floating up and down, like, synth bass line, and later, like, near the end of the tune, especially in that cool, like, instrumental ride out, where it was sort of all the sonics finally come together. There was like a deeper, heavier, like, bass layer, but for the most of the track, it wasn't really like a dance floor tune. It was a dramatic, again, uplifting tune, and his Neil's vocal performance, it felt like, very different voices, and when I do these kind of comparisons, it's not like now, like, people will worry that I'm, like, criticizing the quality of the one or whatever, but it reminded me of a Depeche tune where Gore is doing a vocal, and it's very, like, isolated, something like Somebody to Love or A Question of Lust, where it's, Martin kind of bearing his fragile and vulnerable soul through his vocals. This one felt a little bit more like that. We still got the dreamy smoothness of Neil's vocals, but it felt like a bit more personal, or a bit more fragility in his voice. So yeah, again, that was part of maybe what had me thinking, like, oh, I wonder if this is on some level autobiographical, whether or not it has to do with the story of Neil and Chris. But either way, I found that to be a really sweet tune, and as it was, like, playing out, it was like I was happy for the characters in the track, and also I felt like, triumphant in the sense that, as brutal as the world can be, there are people who find connections that mean a lot and make them look forward to the next day instead of dreading it. So yeah, shout out to PSB. Look forward to hear what people have to say about the actual themes on this one. But sonically, very dramatic, very like, not musical theater, but it had this drama, this theatrical quality to it, whereas a lot of their tracks, even when they're about historical or cultural things where there's a lot of, like, subtlety and context at play, they still tend to be, foot tapping, head bobbing on the dance floor type of tunes, and this was something different. So once again, shout out to them. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.